What do the Browns, Giants, Raiders, and Titans all have in common heading into the 2025 NFL Draft? They're all staring at the same uncomfortable truth. They need a quarterback, and decisions made this year could define the next five. So who's desperate, who's rebuilding, and who's quietly planning for the future? Let's break down the 7 teams that absolutely need to draft a quarterback in 2025. Hello, football fans. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more NFL content. The 2025 NFL Draft is just around the corner, and it's shaping up to be a critical moment for a lot of teams across the league. With 257 players expected to hear their names called, and even more hoping to get picked up as undrafted free agents, this draft isn't just about dreams coming true. It's about franchises finding answers. And when it comes to fixing problems, no position demands more attention than quarterback. Let's take a look at 7 teams that really need to draft a quarterback this year in Green Bay. Starting with the Cleveland Browns. A few years ago, they made a huge move by trading for Deshaun Watson, handing him a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract. But since then, it just hasn't worked out. He's played only 19 games, finished with a 9-10 record, and recently re-tore his Achilles during rehab. Sure, they brought in Kenny Pickett this offseason, but it's hard to say that's a long-term fix. The Browns have shown serious interest in Colorado's Shedeur Sanders. Head coach Kevin Stefanski even called him an extremely talented football player, and they've reportedly spent time with Ole Miss's Jackson Dart as well. With 10 picks in this draft, including 2 in the top 70, Cleveland has the draft capital to go get their next quarterback. Now, let's talk about the New York Giants. They've been in scramble mode ever since moving on from Daniel Jones. After trying out Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito late last season, they signed Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. And yes, even Tommy Cutlets came back again. But none of those moves feel permanent. ESPN's Adam Schefter recently said that even with all the additions, if the Giants really believe in someone like Shedeur Sanders, they'd still take him with the 3rd overall pick. And with that high draft position, they're in a great spot to make a move. Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders. After signing Geno Smith for 2 years, the Raiders seem to be stabilizing their roster, but that isn't a long-term solution. Minority owner Tom Brady, who's had a lot of influence in decision-making, has a close connection to Shedeur Sanders. The two trained together. Right now, the Raiders have Geno Smith, Aiden O'Connell, and Carter Bradley. That's not going to cut it. They need more talent at quarterback, and they know it. Next up, the Los Angeles Rams. They brought back Matthew Stafford on a restructured deal and re-signed Jimmy Garoppolo. On paper, that stabilizes things for now, but Stafford is 37 years old, and his new deal only runs through 2026. The Rams already allowed him to explore other options this offseason, so it's clear they're at least thinking about the future. With a few mid to late round picks, don't be surprised if they quietly add a young quarterback to start building behind the scenes. Now let's shift to the New Orleans Saints. New head coach Kellen Moore is saying all the right things about Derek Carr, but it's hard to believe he sees him as the long-term answer. Carr has had decent numbers, 40 touchdowns to 13 picks since joining the Saints, but injuries late last season raised concerns, and that $69 million cap hit in 2026, that's tough to ignore. Behind Carr, the Saints have Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, and Ben DiNucci. But with a new coach in town, this feels like the perfect time to reset and build something fresh at quarterback. Next, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers to decide if he wants to be their quarterback in 2025. But even if he signs, that's a short-term solution. They lost Russell Wilson and Justin Fields in the offseason and brought back Mason Rudolph, who's likely just a bridge option. According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, Rodgers wouldn't stop the Steelers from drafting a quarterback if they feel the time is right. And with 6 picks, they've got the flexibility to make that move. Finally, we've got the Tennessee Titans. This team is starting from scratch. Year 1 for GM Mike Bergonzi. Year 2 for head coach Brian Callahan. They've got the number 1 overall pick, and all signs point to them eyeing Miami's Cam Ward. That comes just 2 years after they drafted Will Levis, who struggled with consistency. So far, Levis has 21 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and a 5-16 record as a starter. Whether they take Ward or go in a different direction, the Titans clearly need to find their guy under center. They've got the top pick and plenty more to work with in this draft. So, with the 2025 NFL Draft just around the corner, these 7 teams find themselves at a crossroads. Whether it's replacing an injured veteran, planning for the future, or starting fresh altogether, each of them has a serious reason to go after a quarterback, and this draft might just be the turning point.